Hi everyone, welcome back. Michael Lessie here, and I am just like your mentor or one of your spiritual sisters who been on the path, who just trying to help people on their path, maybe bring some clarity to some questions that they may have. So today I want to talk about the shadow tree. So if you've been following my video, please follow along. If you get lost, I do have some videos. You could just go ahead and watch the other ones. I make like 10 3-minute videos, no longer than 10 to make it easier. So in this video, I want to talk about the shadow tree, right? So if you've been following me, we've talked about the tree of life. So the tree of life is the original tree. That is the tree of the mother. So the mother is, the cosmic mother is is earth basically, and she gave us earth so we can have a place where we can basically learn through our manifesting abilities. So the cosmic mother, which is earth, gave us earth so we can have a trial and error, learn through our manifestation skills. So she gave it to us as her children, who are the Elohims. Now remember, the Elohims are not just human. The Elohims are multidimensional because we are multidimensional. The original tree is multidimensional. But when that tree got cut down, so when she gave us earth, she gave us the tree of knowledge. So the tree of knowledge is really us trying to learn through our manifestations, good and evil. So that's why the tree of knowledge is cut with duality. However, the Elohims cut down the tree of life once it came down to the tree of knowledge and replaced the tree of life with the shadow tree. So what exactly is the shadow tree? So the shadow tree is basically what they use to keep us in control. So when you're dealing with the shadow tree, that's when you're basically dealing with the unconscious of people. Because remember, when we were given the tree of knowledge, we were given the ability to manifest with our consciousness. Now, if you manifest your consciousness, thoughts create reality, right? Because we want to learn through duality. But if you're manifesting and you don't realize that you're trying to learn through your consciousness, you're going to be manifesting. But what you're going to be manifesting is going to be unconsciousness. So you could be accidentally manifesting for someone else. That in my previous video, I said you want to be a sun, not a planet. So this is what happens when you become a planet. When you become a planet, you give up your manifesting ability to someone else. So let's just say the Illuminati. So Illuminati would be illuminated as the sun, right? Illumination. And you would be the planet that would be rotating around their sun. Therefore, they're taking your manifesting abilities to your unconscious. So now you get into why it is called the shadow tree. It's called the shadow tree because they basically harvest your unconscious to do their bidding. So how do they harvest your unconscious? They basically tell you your religion, they tell you what to think, they tell you how to think, they tell you who to like, they tell you who not to like, they tell you who's good, who's bad. A lot of them push white supremacy and make you hate people of indigenous. Now, if you watch my other videos, that's primarily because people who are of color, white people, like all people, it's just not indigenous people, but they primarily wanted indigenous people because they were able to hijack indigenous people's spirituality. So from my perspective, esoteric Christianity, Kabbalah, all of that got hijacked. So what happened was that got hijacked, they displaced the divine feminine, which was connected to the original tree, and they started to harvest people's energy, attention, thoughts, feelings. That's why if you pay attention, all of our history, all of our education is all primarily by one group of people. That's the Illuminati. So they harvest our attention, our thoughts, our manifesting abilities of our conscious, which is connected to the shadow tree. So what happened is we were all asleep, we can't wake up, and they're like, oh, we did it, we're the gods, everyone's asleep, no one's waking up, we did it, yay. But they don't realize is our DNA, all of our DNAs, everything, because we're all connected. The only way you're not connected is if you follow the fallens. And just for clarification, the heavens, the people, because we have all been put under a spell, you can't be judged for your spell, but you will be judged for putting people under spell. So the people who are going to be in judgment, who's being summoned for cosmic law, are going to be the fallen angels, which are the Elohims, because they are systematically trying to be God, right? So you don't want to be God. They're given the ability to be gods, but they perverted God, basically try to put God on a cross, right? The cross, Jesus on the cross, is basically putting God to the physical, so they can't go. So then we know that the divine feminine resurrects herself, but who resurrects the divine feminine, right? That's a good question. That's a question you should ask. So who resurrects the divine feminine would be someone above her. So what people don't realize is the divine feminine was resurrected by her father. So when you have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Father, there's basically three of them. There's the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They demonize the feminine, kept her down here, so she's stuck on earth. Her higher self is cosmic, but then there's also an intelligence above that cosmic. So the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the cosmic mother who has basically passed away. The Son is her twin, which would, I guess, would be Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and then who resurrects them and basically saves them to be their father. So what people don't realize is the cosmic mother and the cosmic father is very, very powerful. They can collapse timelines, do all this stuff like answer prayers, space travel. They're cosmic, but the father, that's who you should be scared of, and that's who resurrected. Basically, the cosmic mother and father. So the father is probably going to be the Messiah. So that's my video. I hope you like it, and see you in my next.